Hello, welcome to a special episode where we take you behind the scenes of a major weather event that's about to unfold. Today, we're diving into a significant and potentially historic weather event that's about to impact the western United States, with California right at the center of the action. The atmosphere is shifting, and all eyes are on the Pacific. After weeks of calm, sunny days, and unseasonably warm temperatures, a dramatic change is on the horizon. A series of powerful Pacific storms is lining up, ready to unleash heavy rain, gusty winds, and feet of snow across the region. The ocean itself seems to be gathering strength, sending waves and clouds toward the coast. This isn't your average spring shower. It's a dramatic atmospheric event that will reshape landscapes, fill long-parched reservoirs, and disrupt daily life for millions. Roads could flood, rivers may swell, and communities will need to brace for the unexpected. Meteorologists are tracking these systems with a mix of awe and concern, forecasting several inches of rain in cities and multiple feet of snow in the mountains. The data pouring in from satellites and radar is both fascinating and a little bit daunting. The shift from quiet to chaos is a stark reminder of nature's power and unpredictability. Neighborhoods that were peaceful just yesterday are now under a blanket of anticipation, waiting for the first drops to fall. We're about to witness a collision between cold northern air and moisture-rich Pacific air, a classic recipe for a major winter storm. When these forces meet, the results can be both beautiful and dangerous. For some, this storm brings hope, a much-needed relief from years of drought and dry conditions. For others, it means bracing for flooding, mudslides, and closed roads. The impact will be felt differently across the state, from the valleys to the mountains. The next week will be defined by relentless rain, howling winds, and blizzard conditions in the Sierra Nevada. Travel will be difficult, and the landscape will transform before our eyes. Understanding what's happening and why is crucial, not just for small talk, but for safety, planning, and even our water future. Families are tuning in, preparing emergency kits, and making sure they're ready for whatever comes next. This is more than just weather, it's science in action, unfolding in real time. Researchers and scientists are out in the field, gathering data as the rain pours down, hoping to learn more about these powerful systems. So, buckle up as we explore this stormy February together. Whether you're on the road, at home, or just watching from your window, preparation is key. The coming days will test our relationship with the natural world, reminding us of both our vulnerability and our resilience in the face of nature's extremes. Let's see what this powerful shift means for all of us, families, communities, and the entire region. Together, we'll witness how weather shapes our lives. The storm is coming. Let's get ready, stay safe, and learn from what's about to unfold. To truly grasp the intensity of these storms, we need to rewind and examine the dramatic shifts that have unfolded over the past few months. California's weather has always been unpredictable, but this year, the extremes have been especially pronounced. The West just experienced its warmest December and January on record. Temperatures soared, ski resorts struggled to stay open, and the snowpack, which is vital for our water supply, was alarmingly low. For many, winter felt more like an early spring. The mountain snowpack, often called our natural water savings account, was nearly empty. Reservoirs dropped to concerning levels, and experts warned of water shortages and increased wildfire risk in the months ahead. Then, almost without warning, the weather flipped. This is what scientists call weather whiplash, swinging from drought-like warmth to sudden floods and blizzards in a matter of days. The contrast couldn't be starker. The atmosphere now holds more energy and moisture than ever before, thanks in part to rising global temperatures. This means that when storms do arrive, they're often more intense, bringing heavier rain and snow than we're used to seeing. In just a few short weeks, we've gone from worrying about drought and water scarcity to bracing for flash floods, mudslides, and heavy snow. The rapid change has left communities scrambling to adapt. The ground, baked hard by the recent warm spell, can't absorb the sudden downpour. Instead, water rushes over the surface, increasing the risk of dangerous flash floods and landslides, especially in areas recently affected by wildfires. This rapid shift isn't just a curiosity, it's setting the stage for real, immediate impacts across California and the West. Emergency responders are on high alert, and communities are bracing for the unexpected. The conversation has flipped from drought to deluge almost overnight. News headlines now focus on flood warnings and storm preparations, a stark contrast to the drought concerns that dominated just weeks ago. Managing this transition is a key challenge for communities and water managers. They must balance the urgent need to capture and store water with the risks of flooding and infrastructure strain. The coming storm is a dramatic example of our changing climate in action. It's a wake-up call, highlighting how quickly conditions can shift and how vulnerable our systems are to these extremes. The stakes are high, and the impacts will be felt by everyone, from families protecting their homes to commuters navigating flooded streets and farmers worried about their crops. As we watch this weather whiplash unfold, it's clear that adapting to these new extremes will be one of California's greatest challenges in the years ahead. Where is all this weather coming from? Why does it seem like California and the West Coast are suddenly under siege from one storm after another? To understand the origins of these powerful weather systems, we need to look far out over the Pacific Ocean. The answer lies in the Gulf of Alaska, a vast and often stormy region that acts as a breeding ground for the weather that impacts the entire West Coast. Here, a giant pool of cold air constantly spins above the ocean, creating a dynamic environment that fuels our stormy pattern. This cold air interacts with warmer, moist air from the Pacific, setting the stage for powerful storms. The first major storm of the season is often a low-pressure system that breaks away from this swirling mass, gathering up huge amounts of Pacific moisture as it barrels toward the West Coast, growing stronger as it moves. This is what meteorologists call an atmospheric river, a massive, invisible plume of water vapor streaming through the sky, sometimes carrying as much water as the Mississippi River, but high above our heads. When this river of moisture slams into the Sierra Nevada and other mountain ranges, the air is forced to rise, cool, and condense, unleashing torrents of rain and heavy snow that can transform the landscape in just hours. The path these storms take is crucial. They often start by soaking the Pacific Northwest, then slide south into northern and central California, bringing waves of precipitation that can last for days. This system doesn't just pass through quickly, it tends to linger, delivering multiple rounds of rain and snow, and increasing the risk of flooding, landslides, and dangerous travel conditions. And this is just the beginning. As one storm moves out, another is often already forming over the Pacific, ready to follow in its path later in the week. It's like a conveyor belt of storms, with the Gulf of Alaska acting as the factory floor, churning out system after system and sending them straight toward the west. This persistent storm pattern will define our weather for weeks, bringing both desperately needed water to our reservoirs and farmlands, but also significant hazards like flooding, mudslides, and treacherous roads. The West is bracing for a sustained period of stormy, unpredictable weather, and communities are preparing for whatever these powerful systems might bring. So, as we track these storms and watch the forecasts, let's break down what's coming next and how you can stay safe during this wild weather season. Let's break down the timing. This isn't just one storm, but a sequence. The first system hits the Pacific Northwest this weekend, then pivots south to California by Sunday. Instead of moving quickly, it stalls along the coast, drenching the same areas for days. This means multiple rounds of heavy rain and mountain snow, raising flood and travel risks. By midweek, the storm weakens and moves inland, spreading moisture to Utah and Colorado. But the pattern may not end. Another storm could arrive by week's end. The core impact period for California. Sunday through at least Wednesday. Expect near-constant weather alerts, from flash floods to winter storm warnings. Communities and emergency responders will be tested for days, not hours. This is a marathon of stormy weather, not a sprint. Preparation and flexibility will be key. The impacts will depend on elevation. Rain in the valleys, snow in the peaks. Coastal and Central Valley areas will see a deluge, with some places getting a month's worth of rain in days. Flash flooding, mudslides, and overwhelmed drains are likely. In the mountains, it's all about snow, feet of heavy, wet accumulation. The Sierra could see over 5 feet, rebuilding the critical snowpack. This is great for water supply, but the weight of the snow can snap trees, down power lines, and trigger avalanches. Backcountry travel will be extremely dangerous. The same storm brings both blessings and hazards, depending on where you are. Urban areas face flooding, mountain communities face blizzards and avalanche risk. Managing these dual threats is the state's biggest challenge this week. One storm, two very different stories. Major travel headaches are coming. Heavy rain will make driving hazardous in cities. Reduced visibility, hydroplaning, and flash flooding are all likely. In the mountains, snow will make passes like Donner and the Grapevine nearly impassable, with closures and chain controls expected. Truckers and travelers could face days-long delays. Airports in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Sacramento will see delays and cancellations, with ripple effects nationwide. The best advice: stay put if you can. Emergency services will be stretched thin. If you must travel, be prepared and flexible. The roads will be dangerous. Avoid non-essential trips, especially in the mountains. Amid the chaos, these storms bring desperately needed water. The record warmth left mountain snowpacks nearly bare, raising drought fears. The incoming snow is a massive deposit into our water bank, crucial for the dry months ahead. Ideally, the snow will melt slowly, allowing reservoirs to capture runoff efficiently. This storm series could dramatically improve the water outlook for the year. Rain also replenishes local water sources and soil moisture, reducing wildfire risk. The balance is delicate. Too much rain too fast causes floods, but a slow, cold storm is ideal. This event shows how quickly the West's water fortunes can change. The storm's impact goes beyond California. The Rockies will get much-needed snow, feeding the Colorado River. This river supplies water to 40 million people across the Southwest. Before these storms, the Colorado River Basin's snowpack was near record lows, threatening water supplies for cities and farms. The snow from this event is a lifeline, helping stave off severe water cuts and boosting reservoirs like Lake Powell and Lake Mead. One storm won't solve the long-term crisis, but it buys time and relief. The West's water system is deeply interconnected. What happens in the mountains affects millions downstream. In the arid West, everything comes back to the snow. This dramatic swing from warmth to storm is classic weather whiplash, a hallmark of our changing climate. As the planet warms, the atmosphere holds more moisture, making weather more extreme and unpredictable. The West is shifting from moderate patterns to cycles of drought and deluge. Our infrastructure wasn't built for this volatility. Floods and blizzards strain everything from roads to power grids. This February storm is a case study in climate impacts. More intense storms, drier dry spells, and abrupt transitions. It's not about blaming one storm, but recognizing a new normal. We need resilient infrastructure, smarter water management, and action on climate change. As the rain and snow fall, we're witnessing the future of weather in real time.